swiftly on.
Welcome back to another tutorial, and this is a request for a drawing tutorial. So in this tutorial we're going to be looking at how to draw two different types of people. The first one is going to be a slightly more cartoony person, and the second one is going to be a slightly more realistic person like this. So if you're interested in learning how to draw a person, stick around, let's get crafting. Okay, so let's have a look at drawing a slightly more realistic person. Again, super difficult thing to do. And you definitely are not going to get it right first time. It's definitely going to take a bit of practice. I am not brilliant at drawing people, but I'm going to show you hopefully some tips that will help you get better at drawing people. So the way we're going to draw a person is we're going to start with a line, a straight line going down the middle of the page or wherever you're going to draw a person. So it's going to be a super faint, straight-ish line down the middle of our page, like that. Now on the top of our line we're going to decide how big our head wants to be, because the head is going to be the most important part for deciding how big the rest of the body is. So we're going to draw an oval. Let's start by drawing an oval. In the middle, so at the top, but we need the line to go down the middle of our oval. And that is going to decide how big our person is going to be. Just quickly sharpen my pencil. So that's going to be the size of our head. Now, what we're going to do now is we need to decide where the rest of our body is going to be. So our person is going to be 7 times as big as our head. Now all that means is from there to there we then need to draw 7 more lines down here that are the same distance as that to that. So you could use that. I sometimes like to use a rubber, so I like to go like that. And you go, yeah, that's how long it wants to be. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't need that last one because I only need 7 gaps because I've got that one. I forgot about that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that is how tall our person is going to be. So we should have our head on the top, and then we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more gaps underneath it, and our line should go right the way from the top down to the bottom. So let's have a look at what these lines mean. So basically these top 2 parts are going to be how big the top of our torso, the top of our body is. So what we're going to do is around this line here we're going to draw pretty much like a pair of pants. So just below this line we're going to draw a line coming across, and we want it to be wider than our head. So we're going to draw a line coming across like that, and then underneath our head we're going to leave a gap for our neck, and we're going to draw a line across there as well, and it needs to be wider than your head. Now how wide the shoulders are depends on the sort of person you are drawing. This person is not going to be super broad shouldered, so I'm going to make it just a little bit wider than the head. I'm probably going to be twice the head's width, so 1, 2. So it's going to be like there and there. And if you ever look at the body, the hips are always at this point thinner than the shoulders. It's almost like a triangle shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide where our hips are going to be, which is going to be there, and we're going to join from here to here. So I'm just going to draw a line down like that. And that's going to be the top portion of our body. Maybe we can make that a bit too thick. So that's going to be the top part of our bodies, the torso. And like I said, now here we're going to draw basically a pair of pants, to be honest. So we're going to go down like that. And then we're going to draw the V. So we're going to basically make it into a triangle down to this line here. So the V should end on, so we've got first, second, third, should be on the fourth line. So the fourth line should be the bottom of this triangle. It's going to be our, well, the technical term would be our pelvis. So that's where it should be. So we should have this triangle here, and we should have this top part, which is going to be the top of our body or our torso. Now it might be worth at this point just putting a neck in, just so that you can see where it is. And it's just going to go down like that. And now we're going to mark out the legs. So the legs are going to go all the way down to this line. So our knees are going to be just a little bit lower than this line here. So if we count down our lines, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our fifth line here, our knees are going to be not quite half the way between these two lines, but not far off. So we're going to go down, and it's probably going to be about there. So it's probably about a third of the way between here and here. And then that is going to be where our knees are going to be. So I'm just going to draw 2 circles, 1 to each knee, so that I know where my knees are going to be, like that. And I'm just going to draw circles at the bottom of where my feet are going to be. Now your feet are going to be pretty much exactly on this bottom line. This bottom line should be the bottom of your feet. So again, we're going to draw a circle. This one's going to be pretty much directly on that line. That is where your 2 feet are going to be. And we are now going to draw our legs. So the way we draw our legs is, if you've done the first one, we're going to do it in a similar way, but we're going to start from here, so there and there, and we're going to draw a curved line to this part of the knee. So we're going to curve it down to that part of the knee. And the point of the triangle here, the pointy bit, you're going to go from there to the other side of your kneecap. And you're going to do the same on the other side. So we're going to join to kneecap, and curve, join to the circle part, which is going to be your kneecap, and that is the top portion of your leg done. Now, for the lower part of your leg, you need to kind of make sure, I probably haven't done this very well, that this circle for the bottom of your foot is a little bit smaller than your knee. And then you're going to do a similar thing to what we've just done here. So when you're doing this portion of the leg, you need to make sure that there's sort of a bit of a calf muscle on it. The leg shouldn't be straight. It should start off a little bit thicker at the top, and then it should get slightly thinner when you get towards the foot, but not too thin, otherwise it will look like they've got chicken legs. Now I probably find drawing legs the hardest part, because I always think they look a little bit weird. Doesn't matter how you do them, they always seem to look a little bit strange. They always look better once you've put some trousers on, because obviously this is all we're doing here, is drawing sort of where the muscles would be. And then we add some clothes, so that's going to be the legs. And as you can see already, they are, you know, already looking pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with those. The feet, we're going to do in a similar way. Pretty much just going to draw triangles. So this one's going to be pointing this way, and I'm going to draw a long triangle, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the end off the triangle, like that, and join it in. And this one's going to be facing forward. This one, because it's facing forward, is pretty much going to be a rectangle, like that, and then curve the end so that it looks like the end of a shoe. So you've got one facing forward and one facing to the side, like that. Look at the arms. So the arms, what we're going to do is, like with the other one, the more cartoony one, we're going to start by drawing the shoulders. Now we do need to kind of change these a little bit, because at the moment we've got very pointy shoulders, which we shouldn't have. So this here should actually slope down a little bit, like that. So we just need to sort of get rid of that super sharp bit like that and have it sloping down a little bit. So it looks like that. And then to draw our shoulder, again we're going to do a circle. Well, it's probably going to be more like an oval, but a circle or an oval here, like that. And we need to do one on both either side, and we need to try and make them as symmetrical as possible, which is not an easy thing to do. It really isn't. So that's going to be like that. That's going to be like that. Mine aren't quite symmetrical, but they're pretty close, I would have said. So again, we're going to decide where the elbow's going to be, and then we're going to join them up. Now I'm just going to have these arms, in fact, you know what, I'll do the same as I did on my first one. So I'm going to make the arms one waving and one holding the sword. So I'm going to do it the same way I did, so with the stick arm. So my elbow for this one is going to be halfway between these two lines. So even if it was coming down straight here, it would still be the same place, so it's going to be about there. So I'm going to draw a line from the middle of this circle to there, and at this point I'm going to draw a circle that's going to be my elbow, and then it probably wants to be a little bit lower than that actually. I think I can always see it's not quite high enough, quite low enough, sorry. And that's going to be my elbow, and then it's going to go up like that. So I'm going to try and make sure that they're right angle. It's not going to look so much like the waving, more just that they're holding the hand up. And then at the end, I'm going to draw the triangle again for where my hand is going to be. Pretty happy with that one, I reckon. I'm going to do the same on the other side. I like to position both arms before I start doing any detail on them. So my elbow is going to be at the same point. It's going to come down. I'm going to draw a circle for my elbow, and the arm is going to come out like that. Triangle for the hand. Now I'm thinking that these arms are not looking the same at the moment, but we'll see what they look like when you start adding bits of detail. So we're going to do similar things to what we did with the legs to make these actually look like arms. And we're going to join the circle. So you don't follow the whole, so this is where your shoulder is. You don't start from here and you're aiming for the elbow down here. You don't start from here and go like that. What you do is you need that shoulder shape. So you start here and then we go into it, because that's going to be like the bicep of the arm. And then on the underside we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to do that there. And then do the same on the other side. Let's do this one at the same time. And then for this part we're going to do the same. A bit like with our ankle, the top part of your arm here should be wider than when you get to the wrist. Again, arms are tricky things to draw, and they always turn out looking a bit odd when I draw them, but we can only try. Right then, so you essentially just joined your circles up with nice curved lines, like that. And your elbow should be not too pointy, but should have a little bit of a point on it. Now hands, really hard things to draw. You're best just looking at your hand, I think, and just trying to work it out. So I know that this hand needs to look like that. So again, if I start with a bit of a mitten and split it up into my fingers, just so that I know I've got the fingers, and then all I need to do is look at the thumb. So the thumb should come out like that. At the moment it looks like he's wearing a glove. Let's get rid of that bit so that I can look at doing a sword in this hand. Again, it's not going to be the best sword I've ever seen. And I'm just going to do this the same way, so all I'm going to do is just draw my knuckles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully it will look a little bit like he's holding some sort of sword. Now whether or not it does is kind of up to you, and whether or not you think it does. And there's my sword. Not the best sword. So that's the legs done, arms done. The hands, I probably could go into more detail on those, but they are very hard things to draw. Definitely just try and get 4 fingers and make sure your thumb is sticking out the right way. And now for the face. So faces are again really hard to draw, really difficult to draw and get right. So I'm going to quickly try and show you a few little tips for getting a face right. Zoomed in a little bit here, hopefully to give you a better view of the face. So, I'm just going over here because I've smudged it quite a bit as I've been drawing. So, you're starting with that basic oval shape. You should have your line down the middle, and also you need to split it in half the other way, the same as we did with our slightly easier, more cartoony version, because they're still going to tell you where the features need to be. So I always like to put my eyes in first, and the way I like to do that is by drawing firstly a small circle to be the middle of the eye, and making sure that they are in the right place. And then what I do is I draw a line going from this line here, curving over the top of the eye and down at the other side. And I do that on both sides like that to make our eyes. And I'll do a bigger version here, so you're going to draw your eye in the middle like that, and it'll be on your guideline, so your line will go through the middle, and you're just going to start here, and you're just going to go up to the top and down back to the line. You're going to do the same here, like that, and you'll end up with that. And if you can get enough detail in there in the middle, you should have the middle part of your eye like that, and you'd normally put an eyelid over the top like that. Depends how much space you've got. I've drawn mine so small it's really tricky. I've even got like a little mechanical pen like this, which is even easier to draw, but still really hard. So we're going to aim for something like that. 2 of those. Let's see if I can actually get away with that one. Right then. And then we need a nose. So your nose, again, wants to be halfway between this line and the chin. So I'm going to draw a line across there for my nose. And your mouth is going to be halfway between the nose and the chin. There. So, a nose, again, I like to just hint at the nose. So we do a little bit of a curly cut on one side, backwards curly cut on the other side like that. And then we just put some nostrils on. So all I've done there is I've gone like that on one side, like that on the other side, and then in the middle I've drawn a shape like that for a nostril. And then you can even put that little bit underneath there if you like. And then for the mouth, I do this. So I draw a line across where our mouth's going to be. Let's get all this stuff here so I can show you here. I'm hoping that this is all in view. I can't see if it is. So that's your mouth line. What I like to do is I go up like that, and then down, so up, down. So it's a bit like a really long M. And then the bottom line, all we do is draw almost like a pool. It's like a little hole, so it just loops down like that, and then we just draw a line down the middle. So the top's almost like a M, you go up and down, and the bottom is a bit like, it's a little bit like a W, but we don't go jaggedy up like that. It's really hard to do because I've drawn this so small. So my person's probably going to look a little bit strange, but it's absolutely fine. So that's how you do your mouth. Now, obviously he's not got any hair on yet, and he's not got any eyebrows, which is why it looks so weird at the moment. So, eyebrows. Lots of different ways you can do it. The way I like to do an eyebrow is I like to work out where it wants to be. So, let's say this is our eyebrow above our eye. It's pretty much going to be a curve. It's going to be like a triangle, but the one that curves round like that. So, let's say that's where our eye is. Yeah, so it's, we've done it above our eye, and the way I like to do it is I do lines like this. Now this only works if you've got the colour that you plan on doing an eyebrow on, but all you're doing is doing lines like that and overlapping them. Otherwise you could just do an eyebrow like I've just done there, so you could just draw a an eyebrow like that, and just try and make them even. It's really tricky because I've drawn this so small. Get rid of all of that. And we need to stick some ears on this, so your ear needs to be pretty much in line with your eye. So the top should be in line with your eye, and all I'm going to do is on the side of the head I'm just going to make this sort of shape. So it needs to be thicker at the top than at the bottom. If you're struggling, you could draw an oval at the top like that, and an oval at the bottom, and then join them together and get rid of the lines that you need there, that you don't need there. And you could even pop that little piece in the ear as well. So, like that. Got the ear on both sides. It's starting to look a little bit more like a person, which is good, because I was getting a little bit worried. So, yeah. Now, the face, you could do with making it slightly more pointy down here. Now, you don't want your face to end up like that, because no one's jaw looks like that, but it shouldn't be quite as curved as it is right now. So all you want to do is, when you get here, is just make it slightly more sort of triangular, sort of more triangular. Oops, it's quite difficult to do on such a small drawing. That looks alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's have a look at the hair. So the hair, we're going to do the same as what we did on our slightly more cartoony one, which is making sure that it all comes out from the top here. So this is where it's all going to come out from. Now I'm going to give this person long hair with a fringe. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to start from here, and the fringe is going to come down and behind the ear. So I'm going to start from here, and I'm not going to go straight from here to here. It's going to grow. It will grow down, and then it's going to come across and behind the ear like that. Down and across and behind the ear. I'm going to do the same on the other side. It's going to go down, across and behind the ear like that. Yes, it looks a bit strange at the moment, but it will look right by the end. And every piece of hair should come from that point there. And at the moment, yes, it looks odd, but again, that's because we need to fill out the hair and make it a little bit bigger. So from this top bit here, we need to follow the head round, making it slightly wider, like that. And that sorts out some of the top of it. And you need to decide if they've got long hair, are they wearing it down, is it in a ponytail or is it in pigtails? Having it down is probably the easiest way of doing it, because all you need to do is imagine, you don't need to imagine, you just need to join this line, and when it gets down to here, all that needs to happen is it just needs to go down there. So you just start at the bottom of the ear, and your hair's just going to wave down like that. And you have yourself some long hair. Now I haven't decided if this is a boy or a girl yet. It could be either. It just depends on probably what you decide to do with the hair and the clothes and all sorts of different things. So it's completely up to you. Now, clothes wise, I'm going to put just a normal t-shirt, like I did with one normal t-shirt and trousers on. I think it's just going to be the easiest way for me to show you. So where this is, I'm going to put a sleeve like that, join up all of that, we're going to have a V-neck. And another sleeve over here. Just going to join all this up. Now, you're probably going to want to make whatever clothes it is slightly baggier than what you've done, so you don't have to stick to all of those lines. The t-shirt's going to go across like that. This person's going to have the t-shirt tucked in. So again, I'm going to have a belt here. And we're going to have just some normal. Of our person finished, and I've got to say I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. Now, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but I think in terms of the perspective and things, how tall he is, you know, how big his body is compared to his head, I think we are, you know, I think we've done pretty well there. I do have to say that this hand hasn't turned out very well. I'm not really sure what happened there, and I think in the future I would try and draw it, but I think it's just because I made his wrist a bit too thin, so I'm just going to put a wrist on the sheet a little bit to try and make it look a little bit better. Didn't really work, but that's fine. I'm going to give it a little bit of colour so you can see what it would look like before we're finished. Person finished. I've added a little bit of colour. I've not tried to shade it or anything with the colours, and I've used pencil crayons. If you would like to try and shade it, that would be awesome as well. It'd probably make it look even better. I am really happy with how it's turned out. Again, it's not perfect, but it's all in proportion and it's looking so much more realistic than our cartoon one. So hopefully you've enjoyed having a go at doing one of these. So that's the end of our tutorial on how to draw a person. Hopefully you've learned how to draw a person, you've had a really good go at drawing something like this. Now, if you have had a go, I'd love to see it as always, so do feel free to ask your parents to send me it in an email. My email is at the bottom in the details. So until next time, keep on crafting.